What is up, guys? It is Riley Rankin Disc Golf here, and we have some commentary of the Twin Town Throwdown. We're playing Kaposhia Park. This is the back nine, and we have a stacked card today. We have Paul KRANS, who's sitting at -23, LEIVISKA at -19, Noah MEINTSMA at -17, and then we have Mikey WAGNER at -20. And we're going to get right into the action here. Here we have hole 10, 380 feet, par 3, and Kale does Kale things on this hole. Absolute park job. Beautiful shot. Here we have Noah, who was winning after 2 rounds, but is unfortunately just even par through the first 9. Just turns it over just a little bit too much, but he'll still have a putt for the bird. And now we have Paul, who was originally signed up to play the Titan Open down in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, but opts to come up to Minnesota and puts a good move on this one here. Needs it just to get over to the right a little bit, but he'll have a putt. Here's Mikey throwing forehand here. Uses the full fairway, gets it over, flex back, and he's also going to have a putt for birdie. So, pretty decent crowd out here watching the lead card at Kaposhia, day 3. Here's Noah's bid at birdie from probably 45, 50 feet out, pretty far. Now here's Paul, just in front of the basket, but he'll have a tap in par. Here's Mikey's look at birdie. Super pretty spin putt he's got going. Noah taps out his par. And then here's Kale's birdie putt. He put it so close to the basket, kind of hard to miss that one. And then we have Paul, who's just going to tap out his par lick as well. Next hole we have is a par 4, 490 feet, and Kale hits early and kind of kicks off to the left, and he's disappointed there. Here's Mikey. It's an eagleable par 4, so these guys are definitely letting it loose and trying to get as far down the fairway as they can. Noah puts a good move on his as well. And then we have Paul. I just love watching his super compact form. Puts a really good move on this one as well. Here's Kale's roller out. I believe he went forehand roller. Kind of almost pushes it a little too long, but he loves these little putter turnover shots and puts it close enough to make the par. Here's Noah's bid at eagle. And here's Mikey's bid at eagle. Really good putt, and that's actually going to get him up in the mix. Here's Paul to match Mikey. Just leaves it a little low. Still going to have a tap in birdie putt, but Mikey is going to get one on him here, as we can see at the bottom of the screen. It is down to 1 stroke with 7 holes to go. Here's Kale's par putt. Pretty good scramble to at least get a par, but a hole he's definitely thinking about birdieing every single time he plays it. And there's Paul tapping out his par. Really good crowd, and as people's rounds got over, definitely got a little bigger as the day went on. Here's Mikey's backhand shot, and kind of just clipped something early, but here's Noah's shot on hole 12. As you can see, it's right in front of you. He puts a really good move on this one. And here's Kale's super smooth. Kind of leaks it over to the left a little bit, but he'll still at least have a putt. And then here's Kale's super smooth, right down the middle, exactly what you want on this hole. Beautiful shot by Kale. Here's Mikey's circle 2 look, just a little low and left. And here's Paul's birdie putt, which he definitely needs. Really clutch birdie putt, probably about 45 to 55 feet out there. So Really good putt there to gain a 2-stroke lead over Mikey as Noah taps in his birdie and Kale also taps in his birdie as well. So the next hole we have is hole 13. It's just 241 feet, just dead straight, but you got to throw the straightest disc in your bag, 230 feet, and that's kind of what all these guys are trying to do. So here's Paul. Gives it a lot of height and looks really good, but it is just going to come up just short. Here's Kale. Flipped it up a little inside, but he is going to have a putt for birdie. And then here's Mikey's shot. Also gives it the height and might even had a chance to go in the basket there. So here's Noah's bid for birdie, but he'll have a pretty easy tap in par. Here's Mikey's bid at a putt. Looks like it might have been just a layup. And then here's Kale's bid for birdie. Just hits the cage. I'm sure it's pretty tricky back in there. And here's Paul to take another stroke on the entire card and field. Looks like he kind of just stabbed that one at the basket. Very similar kind of to what we see from Gannon, but the whole card's going to be taking pars, and it's still just going to be a 2-stroke lead with Paul leading the pack. This next hole here is a super tricky par 3, 390 feet. Super hard one to birdie. I'm not too sure if there was any birdies on the day on this one. Noah's going to put it in a pretty good spot. Paul gets over there as well. And Kale just really puts it into the middle of the fairway as he normally does. And then Mikey goes with a super aggressive forehand play and puts a really good move on it. And he's going to have a birdie look to potentially get one on Paul. Here's Kale's approach. Super pretty, almost puts it in the basket. Here's Paul's jump putt. And he'll have a pretty easy par from there. And then here's Mikey's look for birdie. Super spinny, but just doesn't really give it the height. And then now we have Noah's little jumper here for birdie. Kind of the same thing, doesn't really give it the height, and the whole card's just going to be taking a par, but good par rather than taking bogeys on this one. And we go into this next hole, which is a super tight 340-foot backhand flip-up shot. Here's Noah. That's a pretty good move on it, and he should have a birdie look. Here's Paul throwing and throws that MVP plastic very well. He's going to be just short, though. And here is Kale's shot. Hyzered it up really nice, and he'll also have a look as well. Mikey's actually going with the forehand play, which I didn't really see, and he's going to hit something and be on the left side here, but he does go with the forehand roller play, and it comes out really good, as you can see, and he's actually going to have a putt for par, which is really insane from where he's at. It's almost instant bogey if you're on the left or right side of this hole. Paul's just going to go up for par there, and here's Mikey for par. Just hit the band, and I believe this is his first bogey of the entire tournament, which is crazy considering we've already played Kaposhia once and Bethel University, but Noah does end up getting a really good birdie here, and Kale just misses that one there, and Mikey is going to take the bogey, so it is a 3-stroke lead now. with these next 3 holes all being ones, all of these guys are going to want a birdie. Here's Noah throwing his shot, and he's going to be off down there in the left-hand side. Here's Paul's shot. Super pretty putter shot. He's going to have about a 25 footer for birdie. Here's Kale's shot. Super pretty, I'm assuming putter or buzz shot from him. And then here is Mikey's shot, going forehand again, which from the tee doesn't really look like a forehand hole, but he makes it work very well, and he's going to also have a look for birdie. And there's Noah's scramble shot, and we'll see Paul up first for birdie. And he misses, which all of these other guys, both Kale and Mikey, are right behind him and are both going to be able to get a stroke if they're able to make their birdie putts here. Good scramble by Noah there, and it is now down to a 2-stroke lead, which, as again, these next 2 holes are ones you're going to want a birdie. We have the 250-foot, probably the signature hole out here. All of these guys are going to want a birdie on this one, and Kale puts it real good move on his there. Here's Mikey. Can really put some pressure on Paul if he puts this one close, and I believe he's going to have about a 25-footer for birdie. Here's Noah throwing another really pretty putter shot. He's going to be pretty close there, and we also have Paul, who puts a really pretty move on this one and is going to be parked for birdie. So here's Noah's 20-footer for birdie, and really big putt here for Mikey. Makes the putt, so going into the last hole here, Mikey's going to have a 2-stroke deficit going into the final hole with Paul leading as they all tap in their birdie putts. Onto the final hole, it's a par 4 all the way up the hill, 470 feet. Kale's going to put a pretty good move on that one. Almost hits the pole though, so he was a little worried about that. Here's Mikey. He's going with the backhand. Flips it up nice, and he's going to have a look to get up, at least get up and down for his birdie. Here's Noah. I believe he's throwing a destroyer. Puts a really good move on this one. Also flips it up and over, and he's actually going to be over on the right-hand side. And now here's a really big shot for Paul. He basically puts this one in the fairway. He should have it locked up and gets it just around this tree here on the right-hand side, and probably has about 200 feet left. Throwing a super smooth putter shot, and he's going to have about a 10 to 15 foot putt for birdie. So, and the same goes for Kayla as well. Really good battle down the stretch here. Noah, as again, was winning after round 2, and really just kind of started slow and was even through the front 9, but he was able to at least put a pretty good round together overall. As we can see there, he finished 5 down, and Kale and Mikey with a 9 down for the day. And then here's Paul's putt for 11 down, which ended up rating 1046, bogey free. Really solid golf from both Mikey and Paul. This was just Mikey's first tournament of the year, so pretty cool to see him getting out and playing a tournament. But big congrats to Paul KRANS for making the trip out to Minnesota. Paul KRANS. Alright guys, that's going to do it for the video. Thank you guys so much for sticking along this far. My first time kind of ever doing commentary, so Let me know what you guys think of it down in the comment section down below. Big shout out to Paul KRANS for taking it down, and I did actually have my own tournament vlog up here. I'll pop it up in front of my face here, and I kind of do a play-by-play of more so of the amateur side of the Twin Town Throwdown. Definitely have to check that out. I'll roll that one right in after this video. And if you guys are new here, definitely got to hit that subscribe button. We kind of do all things disc golf. We have a big goal of hitting 1,000 subscribers by the end of this year. And yeah, that's gonna do it for the end of the video. As always, be nice to yourself.